coming in at number 83, we have New Orleans Saints linebacker Demario Davis. And, Demario is another guy that I think has been pretty underrated throughout his tenure in the NFL. You want to talk about just consistency. Well, these past 7 seasons, he's totaled 90-plus tackles in each one of them. And, in these past 3 years in particular, when he's really started to hit his peak, which is kind of surprising considering he's going to be turning 32 next season. That's relatively old for a linebacker. He's had 4+ sacks, and it just kind of proves that he can do it all. And that's what I'm going to show you guys today. He's really good filling against the run. He's really solid blitzing and rushing the passer, and then he's also not bad in coverage either. So he doesn't have very many weaknesses, and as I said, that's kind of rare for a guy that will be turning 32 during this upcoming season. I'm not sure where he'll fall next year on the list, because at some point you do have to assume that his play is going to start to regress here, but to this point it really hasn't, and that's why he's number 83. And first things first, in terms of what has made Demario Davis so special, I want to talk about his short area quickness, because he's not even just quick for a 30, 31, going to be 32-year-old. He's quick just for a linebacker in general. And, it's just really impressive what he's able to do on a play like this, for example, when he's lined up against Trey Turner right in that B gap. And usually for a guard, this is pretty easy pickings. Typically when a linebacker is blitzing, it's tough when you're either not able to get eyes on, or, they're timing up the snap perfectly and you kind of have to jump them, right? That's when it's really tough. But if they're just going to line up right in front of you, usually that's an easy win, right? Well, with Demario, it's really not an easy win, because what you're going to see with him is his ability to just bounce from this B gap inside to A gap and cross Trey Turner's face and really just surprise him before he's able to get that outside foot in the ground and transition back inside to really a power step. And as a result, what happens? Well, Trey Turner gives up the sack on Kyle Allen, because again, Demario is just too fast in there for those big interior offensive linemen, and he's able to ignore the punch, but he's able to turn what is typically an easy win for a guard into a win for the Saints. And, this is kind of what I was talking about on that last slide, actually, in terms of a guy blitzing from depth and, just beating you to the spot with their explosiveness because you're not able to get eyes on fast enough and really react. Well, that's what you're going to have here. So, you're going to see James Carpenter. He's manned up against David Onyemata. Jake Matthews has whatever's coming off the edge. Well, what you're going to see initially is, nothing comes off this edge. So what's kind of the standard procedure? Jake Matthews he should at least sink back in here, and while he's looking up and has his eyes downfield, what he needs to see is Demario is going to be shooting this A gap. Well, Jake Matthews' job, this play isn't on James Carpenter as much as it is Matthews. What Matthews really has to do is force this switch and really kind of slam down into David Onyemata here, so that way James Carpenter knows to bump off. Well, James Carpenter at this point, if he abandons Onyemata, then Onyemata's getting the sack, but instead he has to hang on there until Jake Matthews is able to sink in and get control of that 3-tech, and then as a result, Demario Davis is so explosive and is able to beat him to the spot and ultimately bring down Matt Ryan. So I'll play that one more time in full speed, because I know I was slowing it down for you guys, but you're just going to see it here. James Carpenter's held up on Onyemata. Demario Davis is so explosive, and he forces Carpenter to be late to the spot. And here's another pretty similar example, actually, but this time it's against the run instead of the pass, hence why I called it gap shooting ability. So, kind of from an offensive lineman's perspective, what you're going to see here is Zach Martin and Travis Frederick working a double team or a combo block from this 1-tech to the Mike Demario Davis. And what Demario does so special on this play is just flash his ability to employ that quick first step, that explosiveness, and really just shoot this gap as he reads and reacts to this offensive play by the Cowboys. And what that kind of does is completely disrupts and throws out of whack Travis Frederick's tempo. And by tempo, what I generally mean is with double teams, kind of the rule of thumb that I've always been taught is you want to, both of you, stick on this double team until you either drive this 1-tech to linebacker depth, or you want to break off when Demario Davis fills and kind of reaches your level, right? Well, I feel like that's what Travis Frederick was planning on this play based on his first 2 steps. He takes, 1 step, 2 step. On that second step, he makes contact with the 1-tech. Well, look at what Demario Davis is able to do, and how quickly he's able to process this play in comparison to, say, A.J. Klein, right? He's already taken 2 steps forward, and as soon as he saw that gap, that front side A gap between Frederick and the left guard open up, he's taking it. And that's exactly what you're going to see as he just shoots through the play. And Frederick's not able to really get eyes on and break off of Sheldon Rankins at the line of scrimmage to come off and disrupt Demario Davis. As a result, Davis shoots that gap and makes a great really solo tackle on Zeke Elliott for no gain. And it's not only Demario's straight line speed and explosiveness that makes him so special. It's also his ability to just change directions and really flip his hips and work backwards as well. So, what you're going to have here is him working against the Buccaneers. They're running a play action play. So Demario, he's going to take two kind of read steps or fill steps forward as he's like he did on that last play, looking for a gap to shoot to make a play in the backfield for a loss, right? Well, what he notices is, okay, Jameis still has the ball, and now I'm 2 steps out of position. Well, while most guys, they're too stiff to recover, and it's going to look super clunky as they try and play catch up to that tight end coming across the middle on a crossing route. Just look at how Demario is able to so easily and so fluidly take a drop step with this left foot and just turn and go as if he's a defensive back, and as he makes up any lost time on O.J. Howard and really runs the route for him. Like it's just beautiful because, again, that's a 31-year-old linebacker right there making that type of play 30 yards downfield on a play that he initially bought the fake on. And it's just plays like that where so many linebackers are so stiff and they're not making this play, but Demario is. And this is one of the primary reasons that I have him on my list, because not only was he a first team All-Pro last year for a reason, but he's just so well-rounded in his ability to do it all and not only work forward and side to side, but also work backwards as well. And here's another one where I just want to talk about Demario's straight coverage ability. But pre-snap, he's kind of fooling around at the line of scrimmage. You don't really know what he's doing. Is he going to be straight blitzing this C gap? Is he going to be a part of some twist or stunt? Is he just bluff blitzing, going to hang out around the line of scrimmage and quarterback spy Jacoby Brissett? Is he manned up against the running back? Is he going to play zone coverage, off this bluff blitz? But ultimately, he does none of them. And what you're going to see is he's actually manned up against Jack Doyle. And what's so impressive about this play is look at how deep he gets in to really just right off that tackle's shoulder in C gap, really a man removed from Doyle. But look at how, even though Doyle, who has insane outside leverage on Demario Davis running an out route, look at how easily Demario is able to, again, just open up those hips, turn and run, and really just mirror and match every single thing that Doyle does. To think that pre-snap, Doyle has multiple steps kind of on Demario, considering he has that leverage off the snap. Like let me see if I can show you guys that. Like, Doyle has outside leverage. This should be an easy completion on an out route against 95% of the league's linebackers. But that's why Demario is in that top 5%, because, again, he's just able to so fluidly turn and run, and that outside leverage completely disappears. Demario's right in his hip pocket and knocks the ball away for an incompletion. And often when you see these guys who are really athletic and able to kind of flip their hips, turn and run, and are so effective in coverage, they're often kind of lacking in the strength department. That's what we saw with a guy like Deion Jones, who I just did at number 93. But Demario does not have that same problem. He's one of the strongest linebackers in the league, and that's what allows him to really be played anywhere in the linebacking core, whether that's Sam, Mike, or Will. And what you're going to see here is that them using him off the edge. And this play looks better than it actually is, but I mean, that's Taylor Lewan right there, and it's actually quite a bit on Lewan, because he took a really, really strange step inside first, and he might have got his feet tangled up. It's kind of hard to tell. But still, that's Demario Davis, a middle linebacker, running through him, and getting a sack on a huge 4th down play. It's plays like these that the Deion Joneses of the world are definitely not making, but Demario Davis is, and that's what really sets him apart. And, if that last one was not impressive because, Taylor Lewan might have tripped, here's one that definitely is impressive, because essentially what he's going to be doing is setting the edge against Jake Matthews, a former first-round pick for the Falcons. And, look at how he – like a D end, he's able to get those hands in there and, essentially stack and shed Matthews. That's what you're going to see, as he's already benching Jake off. He's looking for the ball carrier, and he's going to be able to shed him and help get in on the tackle. And, that's stuff that we saw in our Everson Griffin and Trey Flowers videos, yet here's Davis doing it, with a 40-pound disadvantage compared to those guys, yet he's making plays like this at a pretty solid rate when the Saints are asking him to do it. And that's the thing, is that he's just good no matter where and what you ask him to do. And I don't have too much left, but I did want to talk about his technique in terms of using his hands and just his ability to get off of blocks and shed blocks, because ultimately the strength and the physical attributes are one thing, but the technique behind it is another. So what you're going to see here is him going up against Taylor Lewan, and Lewan initially gets in a great position but is off balance. So what does Demario do? He uses one hand to kind of slap Lewan off, the other to rip through him a little bit, and as he continues down the line of scrimmage and makes a play on Dion Lewis for no gain. And for him to be making multiple plays like this in a single game against what many consider to be a top 10 left tackle, that's just really impressive to me. And here's an even more impressive play, because this time he's going to have a pulling guard coming from the other side of the formation trying to wrap up the hole and get him out of the way. Well, Demario Davis, despite having a 100-pound disadvantage on Jamon Brown here, is able to just put his shoulder into him, shock the blocker, and completely blow up this play. And it's plays like these that, again, a lot of more athletic linebackers are just getting absolutely destroyed on. But Demario Davis is able to not only hold his ground, but assert his dominance on a guy like Brown there. I'm going to rattle through these last two plays pretty quickly here, but I just want to show off Demario Davis's ability to be a straight sideline to sideline playmaker, as I feel like that's really the only base that we haven't touched yet. So what you're going to have is the Texans running just a simple outside handoff to Carlos Hyde, nothing crazy. But what is kind of crazy is Demario's ability to, despite starting maybe 2 steps inside this defensive left hash, I was able to not only track down Hyde on the opposite sideline, because that's impressive in its own right, but at the same time, what you're going to see is how he's able to fight over top this climbing left tackle and really not lose any speed in the process. As I said, so there's the handoff there. He fights over the block, and even though Hyde has massive leverage, Demario is able to chase him down and prevent him from getting any extra yards. And obviously, he still did get the first down, but again, it's just so impressive for a guy that's 31 years old to be able to cover that much ground and make the play for only a short gain opposed to what could have been a bigger one. And I like this last play quite a bit because it's just a good summation of everything we've talked about to this point. You're going to see Demario's quickness and ability to just, easily read and kind of diagnose what the offense is trying to do, but then appropriately react as well and put those physical gifts to really action here, as you're going to see the quick first step. You're going to see the explosiveness. You're going to see the strength as 2 blockers kind of converge on him, but he's able to fight through both of them. And, even despite at one point losing his shoe here, still have the range to track down Todd Gurley and make the play on Gurley's cutback. It's just so impressive because, again, I hate to harp on his age, but he's 31 years old and he hasn't lost a step. And that's why even though some people might have put the younger guys like, the Anthony Barrs and Deion Jones ahead of him, I can't do that until my man Demario loses a step. But at this rate, it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. And as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a thumbs up down below, and almost more importantly, toss a comment down in the comment section. I'd love to hear not only your thoughts on Demario, but also just the list in general. Did I hit the nail on the head at 83, or did I either severely overrate or underrate him? It's an interesting discussion to be had because, you're going to have 2 primary schools of thought. One that says this should be based on solely his performance in 2019, and as an All-Pro, first team All-Pro, he should be substantially higher. Or you're gonna have that other school of thought where they're gonna say, oh, well, a list like this should be projecting towards 2020, and he's 31 going on 32, and maybe he shouldn't be on the list at all. Well, I kind of fall in that interesting range of not necessarily in either school of thought, and you can listen to me discuss my whole criteria in the intro video that I'll link in the description below. But I'm not going to assume regression when we haven't seen any signs of it, but I'm also not going to overinflate his spot in relation to other great players at that position. So with that being said, if you guys did enjoy this video and want to tune in for others, make sure you subscribe. The Saints they were tied for the most players on this list. So if you are a Saints fan, there's definitely a bunch more of them coming on the way. So with that being said, I'm mic'd up and I'm mic'ing out. Peace, guys.